I talked to Mark, who gave me the ingredient, and he said he tried to text one of my cooks, Sean, they used to work together, and asked him what was my least favorite ingredient. He thought since I hate making desserts so much, he'd give me confectioner's sugar. I showed him, I didn't make desserts. I really don't eat like a big old steak all that often, but when we cut into these the other day, I was like, you guys are pretty freaking delicious. There's all these butchers right around here. See, there's one over there that like painted goats on the windows since we opened. Isn't that funny?
Oh,
totally.
Since you opened?
Yeah.
So how many drunk people bang on their door at 11 o'clock on Friday night?
I see goats, let us in. Yeah, it's totally random. But anyways, they have good steaks too. So we picked up a couple of big ass like ribeyes. So I made a rub with confectioner's sugar and a bunch of different spices in it. This is this stuff called malt vinegar powder. If you sniff it really hard, it like sort of goes up your nose and it makes you start coughing. Cayenne pepper, just for a little spice. A little bit of black pepper. And our lovely powdered sugar. It's like shake and bake. So we'll get the sauce going first and then we can let it reduce and stuff. Let's see. See if I can actually remember what I did the other day. So we've got garlic, tomato, malt vinegar, red wine vinegar, dried shiitake mushrooms, dried Thai chilies. Look at my mad skills of pouring stuff into a pot. Black peppercorns, and then of course our powdered sugar.
That just looks wrong.
It does. It's not looking super delicious at this moment, but in a little while, I'm sure it will be great.
A little Christmassy.
It does look like Christmas. Look at the snow on my little tree. To me, it's always about balance in the dish. There's a little spice, a little sweet, a little salty, a little tangy. You know, making your whole mouth happy. We say when you reduce down regular sugar or maple syrup, I think it just caramelizes and makes it like a syrupy, really like glistening sort of gastrique type thing happening, which didn't seem to happen with the confectioner's sugar. I don't really know why. Just sort of melted in there and made it a little bit sweet. So I just ended up taking a different route. But on the nuts, I think confectioner's sugar is the best way to do candied nuts. It's like now we started doing that all the time. So this is my little station I work at. I'm just waiting for this to come to a boil. I have little toys around and stuff. There's my Yoda. We're gonna take these and boil them for a second, and then here we've got cayenne pepper. We've got some more of that malted vinegar powder that goes up your nose. Some rosemary. This is tomato powder. It's just dried dehydrated tomato in a powder. It's like really intense yummy tomato flavor. So while they're still nice and wet, you want to get it right into the powdered sugar. So those are nice and coated. And I have a feeling I overfilled my little fryer this morning, so it's probably going to go, might be a little danger happening in a moment, but we'll see what happens. Stand back. The reason we're doing it in here is because the sugar sort of gets out into the oil, and if you do a giant batch like I did the other day, your whole fryer kind of turns brown. So it's filled with caramel basically at that point. So this is our sauce that we were reducing down. It's just about halfway reduced. I'm going to add in some veal stock. You use veal stock or like a dark chicken stock or really whatever. And these mushrooms, you can see like they're almost soft, but they just start to soak up all the flavor in the sauce. So we're going to use those as a garnish on top of the steaks in a little bit. It might seem like I'm putting a lot of it on, but it's just going to caramelize on the outside and make like almost like a little crust. It gets like nice and brown and almost a little crispy. I'm just leaving a little bit of the chunks of tomato in here because it's tasty. So we got like nice crunch from the nuts. I always like to have like a little bit of crunch on the plate. So we'll get a little bit of the nuts, olives. You always have to have the perfect bite. There's like confectioner's sugar in 3 different ways on the plate. Not really sweet at all, but they all had a purpose. Like the sugar made the steak all caramelized. It made the sauce more balanced, and it made the nuts nice and crunchy. So, yay. I think that he uses a lot of sort of bold and fun flavors too from in his cooking. So I just thought it'd be something different to use. I don't know if he uses tamarind. I've never actually asked him that though.